Here's the truth. I didn't really get what was happening until I saw that selfie. Just a dumb photo. Blurry mirror, overexposed lighting, crooked towel in the background. But what broke me wasn't her pose. Or the stupid filter. It was the bath mat. That ugly blue mat with the ripped corner and bleach stains that only existed in one place. My bathroom. She was smiling in the reflection like she belonged there. Like she'd always belonged. But to understand how I ended up in that moment, we need to go back a few months. Before the messages, before the screenshot, before everything started to rot. Julia and I had been best friends since we were 9. We met on a school field trip. She threw up on the bus. I clapped. We'd been inseparable ever since. She stood up for me in middle school, laughed at my dumbest jokes, and hated raisins with the same irrational passion I did. But Julia had this thing. She hated losing. At anything. If I got a better grade, she'd joke that the teacher liked me too much. If a guy looked at me, she'd say I smiled too much, that it was desperate. But I never saw it as competition. I thought it was just her way of caring. Twisted maybe, but loyal. And then came David. I met David in a photography class. He wore yellow rain boots in the middle of summer. Said it was a personal promise. Never explained. I like that. He was quiet, weird, kind of sarcastic with this soft sadness in his eyes. He used to take pictures of me when I wasn't looking, then send them with captions like, "You look like the softest kind of sad in this light." I love it. I fell hard, and for the first time, I felt like someone saw me as more than just Julia's sidekick. When I introduced them, Julia smiled and said, "Wow, didn't think you could pull a guy like that." I laughed, but it stung, and I let it go. Again. The first red flag came 2 months later. I was at her apartment, looking for a charger, and opened the wrong drawer. Inside was a photo of us from when we were kids. But the weird part? My eyes were scratched out. She laughed, said it was an old joke from her teen angsty phase, said she used to do that with everyone's pictures. But I remember the room smelling like fake vanilla, and I remember my hands sweating for no reason at all. Next part will go deeper into the cracks forming. After the drawer incident, I started paying more attention. Little things. David texting less. Julia asking weirdly specific questions about our relationship. Once she asked what brand of shampoo he used and laughed like it was some inside joke. I told myself I was being paranoid. That maybe I was jealous of their chemistry. That maybe, God forbid, I was the toxic one. That's what emotional gaslighting feels like, by the way. It sounds like your own voice, but it's not yours. One night, David stayed over. He fell asleep early, left his phone on the nightstand face up. I didn't mean to look. Actually, I told myself not to, but then the screen lit up. "Julia, just say it. You miss me." My throat closed. I didn't touch the phone. I didn't need to, because a second later, another message popped up. "Be honest, last night meant something. He didn't wake up when I got out of bed. Didn't notice when I stood in the kitchen for 45 minutes holding a spoon." Yeah, a spoon. No idea why. That night, I didn't confront him. Or her. I took a screenshot. Just one. Then I made chamomile tea I didn't even drink. And I cried while watching a video of a cat falling off a couch. I didn't sleep. Next day, I went to Julia's apartment. She opened the door wearing my hoodie, the oversized gray one with bleach spots on the sleeve. She had no shame. Zero. I asked her, straight up, "Are you sleeping with him?" She blinked, then smiled. That fake, slow smile she used when teachers praised me in front of her. "Nowhere. Why would I want your leftovers?" And that's when I knew. The lie was too specific. Too disgusted. Too performed. She offered me coffee. I said yes, like an idiot. And while she made it, I noticed something. On her fridge, held by a cheap magnet shaped like a pineapple, a photo. Me and her. Age 10. Arms wrapped around each other. But her half of the photo had been colored in with highlighter. Neon green. Mine had a thumbprint over the face. That's when my body decided to betray me. Stomach cramping, hands tingling. My body knew the truth before my brain let it in. I said I had to go. She offered a cookie. I declined. She said, "You're always so dramatic." I walked home with the weirdest thoughts in my head, like how she always hated sharing fries, and how she never once, in 15 years, called me beautiful. But the final nail, the moment everything clicked, came 3 days later. She posted a mirror selfie. Caption, "Feeling cute. Might steal your life next." I laughed at first, until I looked closer. The reflection behind her. My bathroom. I stared at the selfie for 10 full minutes. Zoomed in. Zoomed out. There was my cheap IKEA shelf. The one I swore I'd replace someday. There was the chipped soap dispenser that made that wheezing sound. And behind her, barely visible, a toothbrush. His toothbrush. He had told me he was just staying in to rest. And apparently, she was resting with him. The worst part? I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I didn't even cry. I just stood there, completely still, holding my phone like it was evidence in a crime scene. Which, in a way, it was. I didn't say anything that night. He came over, kissed my cheek, asked what I wanted for dinner. I said, "I already ate." He talked about a podcast he was into. I nodded like I cared. Inside, I was taking mental screenshots of his tone, his shoes by the door, the smell of his cologne mixing with lies. Later, when he went to shower, I picked up his phone. It wasn't locked. He trusted me. Or maybe he was just stupid. I found them. The texts, the voice notes, a selfie of them in bed, captioned, Your bed's comfy. Might keep it. I sent the photo to myself, then deleted the sent notification. Then I placed the phone back exactly where I found it. That was the moment I stopped being the victim. For the next 3 days, I acted normal. I even laughed at his stupid jokes. Asked Julia if she wanted to go thrifting. She said she was busy stealing my life apparently. But I wasn't waiting for an apology anymore. I was collecting pieces, proof, patterns, and one final piece of the puzzle. The childhood photo. My mom had kept an old print of me and Julia from our school talent show. We were singing horribly, both off key, both wearing fake mustaches. I asked my mom for it. She didn't ask why. I took it, scanned it, and did something I'd never done before. I posted it, side by side with the bathroom selfie and the message screenshot. No caption, no names, just one word. Closure. The silence that followed was immediate and loud. Julia blocked me. David texted me. I can explain. I replied, I hope the bed's still comfy. Then I turned off my phone, ordered sushi, watched a documentary about octopuses, and for the first time in weeks, I felt nothing, just quiet. Julia disappeared from every platform. David tried calling, twice, then stopped. Mutual friends texted the usual, are you okay? I had no idea. This is crazy. I didn't reply, not because I was bitter, but because explaining betrayal to someone who wasn't there, it cheapens it. So I let them wonder, let the story float around and finished and tied. 2 weeks later, I saw them at a grocery store. They weren't holding hands. She looked bored. He looked guilty. She had her arm looped through his, but her body was slightly turned away, like she was already pulling back. She saw me first, stopped, blinked, tilted her head. That fake "are we still pretending" expression. I looked straight at her. Then I smiled, not out of kindness, but because I wanted her to feel it that I wasn't angry. I was done. Later that night, I took down the post, not because I forgave them, but because I didn't need it anymore. The silence between us was louder than anything I could have posted. And honestly, I liked it that way. Now I'm good. I still keep the photo, the childhood one, in a drawer. Not to remember her, but to remember me. The girl who trusted. The girl who forgave too fast. The girl who finally learned to walk away without explaining herself. David sent one last text last month. It just said, do you ever think about us? I didn't reply. But if I had, I'd have said, no. But I hope you still think about that mirror, because in the end, I didn't need revenge. I needed distance. And sometimes that's all it takes.